Um, okay, so just as a refresh of what we do here, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Aaron Klapper. I sell here in Manhattan Beach, Hermosa Beach, Redondo, and the whole South Bay. And for a long time, I've done 45 or 50 sales a year. But everything I've learned pretty much was from Mike Ferry. I've been in his coaching really this is my 19th year that I've been in coaching and paying him a fortune. But it's been an investment. He's taught me so much. And I know a few of you on the call have also been involved with Mike Ferry's coaching. The beautiful thing about being in coaching for virtually almost 20 years is I picked up a lot of wonderful things along the way and have been able to really kind of distill the most important things that can really move your business forward. So what we're going to do, and what we do every week on this call, is cover a certain portion of the Mike Ferry coaching system and really how it relates to all of us growing our businesses together. And really the whole kind of format of this call is sharing coaching tips, but beneath the surface, beneath that, the culture of the call is agents helping agents. Really, we might be in different brokerages, we might sell in different cities, but the truth of the matter is we're all in this thing together, and the truth of the matter is, how often have any of us really gone head to head on listing appointments? It rarely happens. And yet, if we all collaborate and support each other, how much could our business grow? So that's really the nature of what this call is. It's really supporting each other to do more business, to improve our business, and to know that we're not in this thing alone. Otherwise, it can be a little, it's challenging when you feel like you're in an island. It's challenging, when Jason is, calling, phone prospecting and being on the phone for 40 minutes and not getting a single contact. That's a little challenging, right? So it's nice to know that you have some camaraderie and a group of agents around you that are all rowing in the same direction. And that really is very, very helpful and very beneficial. So let's get on to our points. We're going to get to past clients and center of influence. That's what we're going to focus on for this week. For those of you that do know or don't know, just a quick review. Past clients and center of influence are the money group of people. They are the most important group of people that you could ever have a level of communication with in this business. Stop. And the reason for that is these are people that already know you, they already like you, they already trust you, and they really, really want to support you. And I see Chad just jumped on the call. Chad and I were talking about a week ago. He was door knocking in Carson, and he door knocked somebody that he went to middle school with, and they reconnected. That is going to become part of his center of influence. And guess what? That guy that he connected with wants nothing more than for Chad to have success. He's going to be a great referral source for Chad. That's how these people are. They really want us to do well. They're even better than calling expired listings. They're better than calling for sale by owners. They're better than door knocking and cold calling. They're better than circle prospecting. They're better than open houses, because these people become our raving fans. They truly want to support you. So we're going to focus on past clients and center of influence for today's call. Point number one on past clients and center of influence. Past clients and center of influence are our personal gold mines. That's the point. We already kind of discussed it. We discussed the reason why. So let's go right on to point number two. Actually, before we go to point number two, I want to ask you guys a question, kind of a general question. Has anybody ever taken the time to source their business, whether it's the past 5 or 10 deals, whether it's the past year or two? Has anybody ever taken the time to literally write down every single transaction and to label where they came from? Oh, this person came from an open house. This is a past client. This is a center of influence. This is a referral from a center of influence. This is my old neighbor. Who has actually done that and taken the time to, Amir, did you raise your hand for a second there?
Yeah.
What was your experience when you actually sourced your business? What did you find to be the case?
It all comes from the center of influence.
Is that true for you?
A lot of it.
Yep.
I mean, even a lot of deals, or the many deals that you've done, mainly they come from center of influence.
That's super interesting. So, hey, Ellie.
Hi.
So that's really interesting, Amir, because I know that you're a prospector, just like me. And that's how you and I really connected so many years ago. Same way for me. I was actually shocked I didn't know this was going to be the case. I took the time to source my business, and I'm someone that has spent a lot of time over the years, virtually almost two decades, prospecting. I would call expired listings every single day. I would call for sale by owners. I would do cold calls. And yet when I actually sourced my business, even with all that effort being that output to finding new prospects, I found the same thing that you found, Amir, that a huge, in fact, the bulk of my business was from center of influence or past clients. Was that surprising to you, or was that something that you expected?
I didn't expect it. I thought, because you're prospecting and you're getting leads and you're talking to a bunch of people, but I didn't. I mean, it's clear as day when you look at it like that. It's about 80% of the people that you know or have known in some way, shape, or form are the people that are paying you.
Yeah. So did it make you then approach that group in a different way, or give them a different level of importance for your future prospecting, or did it change your habits or your efforts from then moving forward at all?
It just kind of made me. The importance makes you kind of hone in on it and always want to be touching them or be talking to them
Yeah,
in any capacity. Just go there first and start there. If you're
absolutely. So I'll tell you guys what I learned from it as I told you, I was a prospector. I would spend like 3 hours a day prospecting expired listing, or not three, probably two, and then an hour doing other things. Once I realized, when I sourced my business, the small percentage I got from expireds and the much larger percentage I got from past clients and center of influence, I said, what am I wasting my time calling all these expireds for? And I reversed it. We decided to spend a lot more time calling past clients and center of influence and less time calling expired listings. In fact, I just eliminated expired listings altogether, and really doubled down on what was working really, really well for us. And then our business continued to grow. So sometimes just being in reality, really understanding the numbers, and in this conversation, truly understanding the value of that center of influence list, is a great, great starting point. So Sean, I see you jumped on the call. Sean right now is working on building his center of influence list, right, Sean? How's that going for you?
Yeah, it's actually been a lot of fun. As I've been going down like Facebook friends lists and through the phone, I'm kind of treating it as like, who would I want to reconnect with? So
Mm-hmm.
I've just been going through, and anybody that like excites me, like, oh man, how's that person doing? I add them to the list. Um, yeah.
Yeah. So just to give you guys a little understanding on what Sean and I discussed. So Sean is new to my team, and so the first thing we're doing is, you know what? And my team is one that we're prospectors. That's what we do, right? We call people because ultimately there's two groups of people in the world: the people that you know and the people that you don't know, right? Which group is bigger? The people you don't know is way bigger. However, the people that you know are way more powerful, right? So the first group of people that we want to call is the people that we actually know, the center of influence. The only problem with that group is it's a very limited number of people. It might be 100 people or 200 people or 300 people. And then once you're really effectively working that group of people, if you want to grow your business beyond that, then you've got to learn how to talk to people that you don't know. That's the prospecting. That's the expireds, the for sale by owners, the cold calling, the door knocking, all that good stuff. Open house, social media, whatever. So with Sean, what we're doing right now is building a really robust past client and center of influence list. Just by a quick raise of hands, does everybody have some sort of database that they're utilizing? Do you have all your COI someplace, right? So that's suggestion number one in working past clients and center of influence. Number one is build a list. How do you do that? How do you do that? Well, the first thing you have to do is you have to utilize what we call a memory jogger. If you guys want to write down this email address, actually, Danielle, can you put your email in the chat, please? It's Danielle at Klapper Group, but Danielle will put it in the chat. Shoot Danielle a quick email and just write in the subject line memory jogger, and she will email that right back to you if you don't already have it. A memory jogger is something that basically lists out accountant, attorney, gardener, cleaners, whatever, restaurant, this whole group of people of different industries. And by looking at that memory jogger, that will allow you to jog your memory and start writing down furiously everybody that you know. Gardener. Oh yeah, my gardener, his name is Jose Padilla. I'm gonna write Jose on my list. My dry cleaner. Oh, Reza, he's my dry cleaner. Let me write Reza on the list. My accountant. Oh, Kyle, let me write Kyle. And it starts to jog your memory. There, Ellie's got it up there. It looks just like that. That's something that she's working on. And what you want to do is write down every single person that comes to mind. Then you also go through your social media, your cell phone, your Christmas card list, your family, your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers from a previous job, your kids, friends, parents, anybody and everybody that is a part of your center of influence, and literally put them in one place. Have a list of people in one place that you can access. Then that list, how do you make the list? You have the name, the phone number, the physical address where they live, and the email address. Those 4 things. You get that list as robust as possible, and then you work that list. Now, the next point number 3, ties right into this, which is remember the 10% rule. 10% of your prospects will give you business every year if you ask for it, but we have to ask for it. 10% of your, now this is specifically regarding past clients and center of influence. There's a 10% rule. If you have 100 people, and not in the first year, but over time, if you have 100 people on that list, you can and will get 10 deals a year from that list. If you have 200 people on that list, you can get 20 deals a year from that list, and so on and so forth. There are many, many agents that grow tremendous center of influence lists, past clients list, and then don't have to do anything else to look outside of that list. There are agents that have 1,000 and 2,000 and 3,000 people in that list, and they do 100 or 200 or 300 deals a year. 60, 70, 80% of their business comes directly from that list, right? So it's just a gold mine. Now, how do you work that list? Now I got the list. What do I do with it, right? So the answer is this, and this is, I'm going to give you the Mike Ferry approach, but then we'll also we'll bring it up to date a little bit, because Mike Ferry's approach is old school, direct sales, get on the phones, get in front of people, and have conversations, have real estate conversations. So Mike Ferry's plan on working this list is this. Number 1, call them 4 times a year. Number 2, send them a postcard 4 times a year. That's it. Call them and send them a mailer and alternate. So every essentially 6 weeks, they're getting some contact from you. What does the call sound like? Well, the call is a pretty simple script. Now, Mike Ferry's script, you might not like it, you might not want to use it, but this is Mike Ferry's script. Hey, Ray, it's Aaron Klapper. You don't have to respond, Ray. I'll just use you. But hey, Ray, it's Aaron Klapper calling eXp Realty. How are you? Oh, hey, Aaron, how are you? I'm terrific. Everything's going great. Ray, this is a business call. Do you have a minute for me? Of course, Aaron. What can I do for you? Ray, I just wanted to call and find out who you might know that needs to buy or sell real estate in the next 7 to 14 days. Nobody. I appreciate you taking a moment. Can you think of anybody, like maybe in your church group, Ray, or your family or a neighbor or somebody in the office that may need my services at this time? You know what? Come to think of it, so-and-so at work is having a baby. I think they're going to need to get a bigger house. That's great. Would you mind if I gave them a call? That's the Mike Ferry script. Now, for those of you that say, I don't want to be that direct with people, it's okay to tweak it. Maybe you say, hey, Ray, it's Aaron. Hey, Aaron, how are you? Well, I'm great. Everything's good. How is your family? How are your kids? How's business? How's work? Like, make it more relatable. And when you feel comfortable, you can bring up this idea of how you can support them with real estate. Ray, I just wanted to remind you, this is like, we'll call it a much softer approach, right? Ray, I just wanted to remind you, I'm a real estate agent and I am here to serve if and when you need it. Great, Aaron, that's perfect. So just do me a favor, keep me in mind. If you hear of anybody in your church, in your family, in your office, wherever, that needs any help buying or selling real estate, would you give me a call immediately? Would you do that for me? Of course I would. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Like, it could be anything in between. The point is really not so much what you say. It could be something completely different. It could be, hey, Chad, it's Aaron calling. How are you? Hey, Aaron. Hey, man, I just wanted to check in. First of all, how the heck are you? How's the family doing? Everyone's doing great? Good. Hey, listen, I know you know I'm in real estate, but I wanted to remind you of something. I have developed this amazing, incredible group of tradespeople and service people, whether it's plumbers, painters, electricians, mortgage brokers, anybody and everybody you can think of. I have just become a wonderful Rolodex of all these great people. I wanted to remind you that I can be a resource for you, okay? Because I want to help and support you anytime you need to get stuff done. All right. So just when you need anything, I want you to know that I'm here and you can always give me a call. So there's a lot of different ways you can reach out to these people. But the point is this: when you consistently reach out to people, you create two things. Number one is you're giving them something and they automatically want to reciprocate and give you something in return. And number two is you're breaking down any barriers and any walls where it makes a very easy back and forth kind of collaboration between you and your center of influence so that they can call you when they have a referral. Next point. Oh, before we go on to the next point, the postcard. What do you send in a postcard? Nothing fancy. It is literally something that's going to go in their hand and go in the trash. It could be something as simple as, you know, it can be Sean Pierce, eXp Realty, you know, so happy to serve. Like literally can be that. It's a reminder for them that you're still in the business. And oh man, Sean, yeah, of course. Then a referral comes up. I just got a postcard from Sean. All right, next point. Don't hesitate to call the ones that you haven't spoken to in a while. They haven't been waiting for your call. In other words, if you haven't talked to someone and you feel uncomfortable, that discomfort is probably in your head. It's not like they're thinking, my God, Lewis hasn't called me in the longest time. No, Lewis is going to call them. We're going to say, oh, hey, Lewis, it's been a while. How you doing, man? There's so many walls that we put up in our own mind. So just have an awareness of that, okay? If you haven't spoken to them in a long period of time, go ahead and pick up the phone and get in touch. Now, point number 5 won't apply to everybody, but the point is this: if you have staff, have each of them develop their own center of influence and add them to your personal list. Do you have an assistant? Do you have somebody that you work closely with in the business? Could you do this with your spouse? Could you do this with, you know, some other family members? Like, the point is you get a little bit creative in how you're going to develop and grow your center of influence list. Maybe your spouse knows some people that you don't know. Hi, this is so-and-so's husband. I know that you guys are super close in whatever. I just wanted to reach out because I actually made a commitment to really helping and supporting the people that are important to my family and make sure they get excellent real estate service. So you can introduce yourself to people very, very easily. Next point we already discussed, which is we must speak to all past clients and center of influence 4 times a year. Now, something else to consider, there are some people that you guys, if you track your history and actually source your business, or even if you just think in your mind, are there people that send you multiple referrals? There are some people that are very active, right? Can you guys take a moment and just try and either write down or picture in your mind 1 or 2 or 3 people that have actually sent you multiple referrals over the years? These people should probably be identified. And what you can do is raise your level of communication with these people. Maybe it's worth calling them every month. Maybe it's worth meeting them for coffee. Maybe it's worth touching base with them, seeing what they need, meeting them for lunch. There are some people that just for one reason or another are much more connected in the community. In fact, you can even in your mind call them a connector. For instance, let me think of someone. My accountant, let's say, is a connector, right? He deals with a lot of business people here locally. I happen to know a mortgage lender that refers me business, and I refer business back to him. He's a connector. He's always out and about and in the community. And you might have friends like that are outgoing, that are in the community, that connect a lot of people, and that have sent you multiple deals. How about raising your level of participation with those people? How about letting them know, you know something? Out of all the people I know, Ellie, you have sent me more referrals than anybody, and I just want to take you out to lunch as a tiny little way to say thank you. I so appreciate you. You've been so wonderful to me, and I just wanted to say thank you. And Ellie's thinking, that's so sweet. Guess what? I'm going to send you more people now, right? So, I mean, you literally can make a plan out of this. This next point we also covered, send them a note or a postcard 4 times a year that says, just wanted to remind you, I'm in real estate. Does it have to be a postcard? No. Can it be a handwritten note? Even better. If you have 100 people, if you have 200 people, you can send 200 people a postcard 4 times a year by writing 4 a day. I've got a question for you guys. When's the last time any of you have received a handwritten note from somebody? Doesn't happen a lot anymore, right? Wonderfully, wonderfully authentic way to communicate with someone, right? Hey, Daisy, I was just thinking about you. It's been a while. Hope all is well. Let me know if there's anything you need. Drop your business card in, shoot it out.
Hey, Aaron.
Yep.
Can I just say something real quick on that?
Go for it.
So please provide feedback if you don't think this is a great idea, but I happen to have probably the world's worst handwriting. My handwriting looks the way that it did when I was 7 years old, learning how to write cursive. I'm not making fun of myself. It's just the truth. So I recently started using a company that they handwrite the notes. I mean, it's a computer, but it looks great. And it's basically the same cost as if you were to buy a card from the store, mail it, put your own envelope. So
what is that? Is that Send Out Cards or is it a different company?
it's called Handwritten, and it's WRYTTEN. And they've got a bunch of stuff in there for real estate or other business type stuff. And you can also add gift cards if you want, because I did that for a recent closing I had, and also for anniversaries for clients. So just thought, I mean, I may be the only one here with terrible handwriting, but like it's embarrassing. On my last team, I used to have somebody else handwrite my cards for me.
Yep. It's wonderful.
It's also a major time saver, just FYI.
Absolutely. So handwritten.com with a Y. Cool. So I think that's a great idea. Some of these companies, and I don't know if Handwritten does that as well, but some of these companies, they literally, it's not printed. There's a machine that literally has a ballpoint pen that writes it. And some of these companies, you can even load in your own handwriting. Like you can actually, they tell you to write like A, B, like whatever it is. And they literally send out a card with your handwriting on it, written by pen. So there's pretty cool stuff out there. We don't do enough of that. We'll do some handwritten cards here and there, but it is extremely, extremely valuable. Let me share something else that we just started doing, which is pop buys. A pop buy is something that you do with your center of influence, with your past clients. And Linda on my team just started doing this. She called up a client saying, hey, I'm going to be in your area tomorrow between 4 and 5 p.m. Are you around? I have something I wanted to drop off for you. And she'll just drop off. If they're home, she'll connect with them. These are good quality, like center of influence, past clients, people that we really want to relate to. And she'll drop off a little gift. And now actually for our meeting next week, Danielle, we're going to actually come up with a whole plan around this. We're going to actually take our list of center of influence and our list of past clients, and we're going to strategize on how to pop by each one of their houses with a little gift. It can be something very inexpensive, but heartfelt. The point is not the gift. The point is that you're taking the time to drop by, check in on them. You know, we were thinking of doing like, you know, those like red and white, like popcorn, like plastic popcorn, like movie theater, make like a little, you know, like a movie night box out of it, put in some like microwave popcorn and some Hershey bars and gummy bears or whatever. Make a little thing, will cost us, you know, $5, and we'll just pop by and say hello, just to engage. So it's something that we're going to build a plan around over the next week or so and just implement. This is not for everybody. This is not for like a whole farm. This is like our core group of people that really help to support us. And it's just a little way that we can drop by and say thank you. Okay, next point, point number 8 on past clients and center of influence. If you're not going to call them 4 times a year and ask for referrals, if you're not going to want to mail them, there are always some people on that list. It's like, gosh, I don't like that guy, or I had an awful experience with them, or this person's just rude. If you're not going to want to engage, just take them from your list. Just get rid of them. Throw them in the trash. That's okay. Don't struggle with calling people you don't want to talk to. If there's somebody that was absolutely rude in the last transaction you did with them, and you said to yourself, I don't ever want to talk to this person again. I'd rather not do business with them. Or if there's somebody that you know in your community that it's like, I don't want them. I don't want to call them. I don't want to participate with them. That's okay. Take them off your list. The reason why you want to take them off your list is because you don't want to open up your list and go through your calls and see that person and be like, oh, that's not the feeling you want to have towards this list. These are people that you actually want to participate with. You want to grow more of a relationship. You want to reach out to. You want them to call you and reach out to you. So if there's people on there that just don't deserve your time and attention, don't deserve to be on that list, get rid of them. Take them off the list. Totally okay. Always make these calls when we're talking about obviously past clients and center of influence. Always make these calls with high levels of energy and enthusiasm. That doesn't go just for these calls. That goes kind of for all calls. So I don't know if you guys are aware, but when you're on the phones, only a very small percentage of communication is able to happen. I don't have the specific numbers, but you know, specifically how much is the words we use, how much is the tonality we use, how much is body language. So a lot of our communication is actually lost when it's just on the telephone. So how do you combat that? Well, one thing you do is you be that much more enthusiastic on the call. And that when you can almost feel like it's showtime, like I'm being overly enthusiastic, but guess what? On the other side of the line, it doesn't sound like you're, you know, going ratcheting up to a level 10. It just sounds like you're interested in who you're talking to. So always kind of ramp up your energy and enthusiasm and really kind of take a moment and get focused on doing that prior to jumping on these calls. We'll go through a couple more points, and then we'll open it up just to your own personal businesses. We already actually went over this point. Determine who on your list provides the highest number of referrals and contact them monthly. Right? So we're going a little bit out of order, but that's great. So this is something we discussed earlier, but we'll also highlight this point. Consider creating an A list and a B list. Call your A list every 30 days and your B list every 90 days. Let them know they're on your A list. Like we said earlier, let them know they're on your A list, right? Hey, Matt, I just wanted to touch base with you, man. How you been? How's the family? Listen, I wanted to let you know something, that I have a list of all my past clients and my people that are important to me, my center of influence in my life. and I've divided them into A and B. And you have been so good to me. You've been so generous with your time, generous with your referrals. You're on my A list, right? All that really means is that you get star treatment, man. I just appreciate you so much. And I wanted to touch base and see if there's anything I can do for you. It's okay to just kind of love on people, right? The more we give to people, the more we benefit people, the more we'll ultimately benefit. So the last point we'll go over today is when talking to them, when talking to your past clients and your center of influence, always bring value to each call. Always bring value to each call. How do you bring value? Number one, you've got to plan your calls effectively. You can't show up and just shoot from the hip. These have to be planned if you're going to bring value. So how do you do that? You can determine themes of your calls based on what's happening in your marketplace. What's a theme that's happening in our current marketplace that we can share with our past clients and our center of influence when we're calling them? Who's got an idea of one theme that we could illustrate?
Interest rates.
Interest rates. And what's happening with interest rates?
Seems like they're going up to me.
Yeah, they're going up. And how is that going to impact the market? If you're a buyer, if you're a seller, what else?
It's gonna make.
Yeah, what else is a theme that's happening in your current marketplace that you can share with your past clients' center of influence? Again, bringing value to them.
Could be an event going on in the community.
Totally, an event going on in the community. Yeah. Hey, they're doing the tree lighting down by the pier. I just want to let you know that they're going to be doing this, that, or the other. You know, there's a food drive going on. Another theme in the marketplace could be low inventory. Hey, I just wanted to let you know that inventory is at an all-time low right now. In fact, the days on market is down to 6 days on market. I don't know if that's the case or not. I haven't checked, but how about, the last time we put a listing on the market, we had 9 offers and it sold, 11% over asking price. Like, that's kind of a cool thing to let your clients know. They're going to feel great about owning a home when you can give them that information. So bringing value to the calls, it makes your calls much easier. It makes them more fun, and it raises the level of communication. If you know you're sharing something of value with someone, it really makes the call much easier. What I mean by that is, I'm calling, let's say I'm going to give Sean a call, and he's a past client and he lives in North Redondo, right? So I sold him the home 3 years ago. Sean, hey, how you doing, man? How's it going? And he's saying, I'm doing great. How's your family? I wanted to call and deliver some good news, Sean. The last 3 homes that sold in your neighborhood sold for an average of $86,000 above asking price. Did you know that? No, dude, I did not know that. Can you imagine, Sean, what that means for the value of your house? Like, all of a sudden, like, what a great piece of information to deliver to someone. Sean, who do you know that might want to take advantage of what you've been able to take advantage of? Virtually in the past couple of years, making several $100,000 just by owning a piece of real estate. Who do you know that we can help have the same results for? Who do you know that needs to buy or sell or invest or whatever? Great way to open up conversation. This will be the last point because it's a good one. Set a goal. Set a goal to build your list to at least 1,000 names over the next couple of years. Remember the 10% rule. Remember the 10% rule. So how many people are on your list? Do you have 50? Do you have 150? Do you have 300? Are you calling them? Are you communicating with them? Set a goal to build your list. Set a goal to broaden your audience. Increase the quantity, and then call them, increase the quality. It's really pretty straightforward, but by continuing to add to your center of influence list, you'll continue to add, you'll ultimately get more business, build your past client list. It's this wonderful self-fulfilling prophecy. Let's kind of open it up a little bit, whether it's regarding center of influence, whether it's regarding any aspect of the business. Truth of the matter is, and we've said this before, if you guys are going through some challenge, chances are that multiple other people are going through the same challenge. We all go through the same struggles and trials and tribulations. So what are you guys dealing with? Let's open up the mics a little bit. What are you guys dealing with that we can kind of dig into and help out with? Anyone's got some challenges?
I'd like to bring something up that I'm struggling with, that I think everybody probably struggles with as well, is this balance between everything we just talked about, these beautiful systems of putting all this in place, which a lot of this is long-term business strategy, right? And then the other reality, which is, hey, we need business right now, right? While you're growing your sphere, while you're adding 3 contacts a day to your database, while you're doing all this great follow-up, that will produce results 1,000%. And you need business now. So of course, we know this all comes back to scheduling and time management and everything, but sometimes it's hard to think of those long-term strategies when you're going through the I need or I want business now. What's your mindset around that, your mentality and your approach to balancing those 2 pieces of the business?
Yeah, so I would say that automatically that tells me, Matt, that you actually have a limiting belief around past clients and center of influence. And I'll share with you the way I view it, okay? Depending on your approach to this group of people, it's very different. If you think of it as a long-term strategy, then the way that you speak with them will be geared towards long-term referrals. Hey, I just wanted to check in. How you doing? If you ever need anything, let me know. I'm here. Or you could say, Matt, listen, I wanted to get in touch with you. I've got a definitive goal to help 42 families this year buy or sell or invest in a piece of real estate. And I wanted to ask a favor of you to help me build that goal. Who do you know that needs to buy or sell a home like right now in the next 7 to 10 days? Is there anybody that you can think of? Gosh, I don't know. Like maybe someone you work with or someone at church. Just kind of somebody coming to mind. Yeah, actually, you know what? So like you can really put a very fine point. And really what that comes back to is, we've all heard it before, you get what you're looking for. You get what you're looking for, right? So what do you drive right now, Matt? What kind of car?
Camry.
Okay. So when you were getting that car, did you buy it new or did you get it used?
New.
Okay. So you identified what car you wanted to buy before you bought it, correct?
Correct.
Right. So at some point, you made the decision that I'm going to get a Camry. Now, as soon as you made that decision, you probably started seeing Camrys everywhere before you bought it, because you're looking for, subconsciously, you're noticing Camrys everywhere. If you want to say, you know what, I'm going to set a goal. I want to get this kind of watch. I want to get this kind of car. I want to get this kind of handbag. My daughter, she's into she loves sneakers, right? You start, now I'm noticing people's sneakers. I never noticed sneakers before. I'm noticing like old school, like Jordans that people are wearing, right? It's because there's an awareness of that. So as you start to look for now business, you will change the way you're verbalizing that to the people, and now business will show up. So I would say, don't just assume that this is business way down the road, right? If you look in any marketplace, Matt, you'll see that there's about a 4% turnover, which means if you go knock on 100 doors and you talk to 100 people, 4 of those people on average are going to be selling their home this year. That means that everybody you know, now think about it. How many people do you know personally? 100, 200, 300 people? If you're calling a past client or a center of influence, how many people do they know? 100 or 200 or 300 people? They know 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 people, either well or not that well, that are going to transact real estate this year. The question then becomes, how good are you at developing rapport with your past clients and center of influence? And then if you become really, really adept at that, really, really good at creating rapport and at enrolling them in supporting you to build your business so that you can, it's a two-way street, then you can find now business. You really, really can. I would just change your mindset and change your script, what you're saying to them.
Yeah, I wrote down, it's literally about the conversations you're having, like being poignant about what you're saying to them on the phone for a referral. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, actually, Sean, can you take yourself off mute for a second? When Sean and I first started talking, you were cold calling, right?
Yes.
Before you and I, our first time we ever talked, or maybe the second time, and we kind of identified that you were calling specifically trying to add to your database, but you were looking for kind of to add them via email addresses, right? Like just to collect email addresses.
Right.
And you were collecting a lot of email addresses, but that's like so random. And then we had a conversation surrounding what? What did we discuss?
It was and said, yeah, the way you said it was, I'm going to find what I'm looking for. So if I'm just looking for email addresses, that's all I'm going to get. Versus if I'm looking for someone that actually wants to buy or sell real estate, that is more what I'll find. And so it was about tweaking what I was saying and what I was asking for to actually change the results that I get back.
And the conversation you were having with people went from here to here. Like it just immediately elevated the conversation.
Yeah, it was
like,
an immediate shift.
It's kind of crazy, but we have to remember, guys, that with our past clients and center of influence, if we just kind of leave it up to them to give us a call when they have a referral, they might never call. They might never call. They might think, I don't want to bother Matt. He's so busy. Because what would we share with them? Oh, how's business, Matt? Oh, it's great. Everything's good. Like, okay, he doesn't need more business. I don't want to bother him. I think Matt probably sells $1 million homes. This referral.
Watch that. That's true. That's 100% true. And people have said it to everybody. It's crazy to think that, but it's accurate.
Yeah. Oh, Matt sells $1 million homes. I don't want to bother him with $400,000 condo. I don't want to bother him with that. Or he's probably too busy. It's like, and if Matt is calling me and saying, Aaron, how are you, man? How you doing? Who do you know that needs my assistance? Gosh, Matt, aren't you busy? I'm always busy, but I love helping people, and I'm always looking for the next family to help. And so it's just changing the conversation. It's creating a little bit of urgency, and that changes the results. Who else is dealing with something that we can bring up and try and address here? All right, good stuff.
Hey, Aaron, let me add on to what you just said. I'm new in this group here, but I've been coaching a lot of agents in the financial industry. Mm-hmm. And whenever I told the agent, the sphere of influence that we have, if you look at it and you just look at those names and you don't visualize them as a person, that's how the conversation's going to be when you talk to them. But if you visualize them, hey, this is Raymond. Raymond is young. Raymond is sick. You start to visualize them, and the conversation, when you pick up the phone and you call them up, you start to think of Raymond as a person, not just a number, not just a name. I think that would help. Try that because it helps a lot of my agents. It helps me too.
That's a huge.
To get into these conversations from just being a 5-minute conversation to extend it all the way to 10, 15 minutes, because now they're engaging. You're visualizing everything. Yeah.
In other words, take it off of you, take the focus of the conversation off. This is not about you. It's about them.
Yep.
It's not about how can I sell 10 or 20 or 30 or 50 homes? How can I make 100 or 200 or 300 or 500 or $800,000? Do they really care, right? No, it's how can I call and talk to Lewis, who is, a husband, a father, a business person, this is about Lewis, and I can talk to Lewis and support Lewis, and all of a sudden it really changes the conversation. What a great point. Just to visualize that person and who they are and how we can support and help them. That's super cool. Great stuff, Louis. Thank you for sharing. All right, guys. Well, listen, everybody, thank you so much for your participation. We'll be on next week. We're going to continue on with past clients and center of influence. Then we'll probably move into lead follow-up and how to do effective lead follow-up. And the reason for that is that many times when we initially source the lead, it's not like you source the lead and boom, you get a listing signed. A lot of times there's lead follow-up that has to occur on a regular basis to to ultimately turn it into business. In fact, the number is 70% of getting business is in the lead follow-up. So we'll continue on past clients and center of influence, then we'll move on to lead follow-up and continue to grow this thing. All right, guys, thank you for your participation, and I will see you all in a week. Take good care.
Thanks. Take care.
Thanks, Aaron.